promise, promise, promise. God's mind is my mind is light. I'm in always reflecting His sight. Always I acknowledge, no knowledge, no courage. Ooh, God, you promised that great day will come. Yes, God, you promised that I will see my son. You promised that He is by your side, and nothing can separate this love inside. No masters, no doctors can prescribe ways in my calling. Only His ways, oh ancient of days, can correct. He reflects the path I acknowledge. God's promise, 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 promise. God's promise, 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 promise. God's promise, 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 promise.
Get over here.
God's promise, 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 promise.
Get over here. Greater light.
Has been created to a true knowledge according to the image of the one who created it. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. Those who live in the dark land, the light will shine on promise.
Shine on promise, 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 promise. Hey, greater light. Greater light, greater light, greater light. Ooh, yes, I'm feeling so much better today. Guess what? Guess what? Wait, let me start it off right. My mind is God's mind. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and divine. He's the source, the one true, the source, the right source, huh? Ain't no in between, one way. He's the one vine. My mind is always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence. My brain symbolizes the capacity. It's a sounding symbol to the living word. My brain symbolizes the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. God's ideas unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. Perfect. Before the foundations of my mama's womb, huh? Before the foundations of this plane here, before the foundations of when He spoke the two lights into existence, the light for the day and the light. I was thought of before that, huh? Created, and you were too, if you take and decide that you accept what was written on your DNA code that they've been trying to decipher all these years and can't. That's why they can't just wipe us out, because they have to actually, you have to willingly give it to them. When they finally deciphered and realized the reason why they just can't get rid of you is because they found out that they actually have to purchase your light code. You have to willingly give it to them. You have to have a choice. That's why all the things are laid out to make it us all good and daddy. Oh, you got a choice. Symbolizes the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. God's ideas unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. I'm always poised, balanced, serene, and calm because I know God provided the perfect solution within my DNA code, huh? He sent Jesus with a blueprint, and in that blueprint, He wrote it all out to remind you who you are, huh? In flesh and blood and light. Perfect solution in my DNA code to all my needs before the foundations is out as I walk to my ordered steps. Same for you. Same for you. And then I want to remind everybody, if you look in the mirror and you can't decide whether you were a man or a woman, know that you were fearfully. God, that's why fear is not of God, because God has all the fear for us. When he made you, he fearfully made you. Fearfully, like he took his time. Do you know what it is to comprehend that your mitochondria DNA, that they can't decipher or unlock unless you give it to them? That belongs to God. How locked in you are that they can't, with all the technology, over thousands and thousands and thousands of years of attempt, because when he did it, he fearfully did it. He said, when I write on this one here, this person and this person and that person, each one of you, before your light code was sent in, he fearfully did it. And wonderfully made. You are fearful and wonderfully made. Come on, turn with me. Let me read it to you. You're beautiful, huh? You look and you smile and your teeth a little crooked, huh? Know that you're beautiful, fearfully and wonderfully made, huh? If you got a little beard and extra hair, mustache and stuff, and you don't look like everybody else, just remember, huh? It don't matter what everybody else look like, because when God created you, guess what? Guess how he made you? Fearfully and wonderfully. Huh? He took his time to the point that their greatest hackers can unlock that code and steal it from you. You have to willingly give it to them. You have to willingly give them your light code. You could go with me to Psalms 139 if you want to. You don't have to. You could listen, but it's better to study that. Self-approved. Unto God. That when the time comes, you won't be ashamed when they rightly divide everybody. When they ask you, are you born again? And you can't figure out if you won't have to be standing there stuck saying, what does it mean to be born again? Psalms 139. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully. You made all the delicate inner parts of my body, God, and knit them together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. It is amazing to think about. Your workmanship is marvelous, and how well I know it. You were there while I was being formed in utter seclusion. You saw me before I was born and scheduled each day of my life before I began to breathe. Every day was recorded in your book. Now, this version, as a matter of fact, I'm going to start over. I'm going to read this version, and then I'm going to read the version that says that I learned growing up. That one of my mother's favorite verses. That's how I know it so well. That's one of her favorites. But I'm going to go with you so you could hear the word fearfully and wonderfully. And what they call their original versions, which isn't the original version, it's just the King James version. But any version, it's the code to the versions is on your DNA code. No matter how they tried to take some out and jot a little, till a little, line upon lineage and precept upon perception. It don't matter. If you study to show thyself approved, you could decipher it just right. And you, Psalms 139, let me get it over here. And then I'm going to read all of this because I see light and dark in there too. Just so you know. You are the light. I am the light. Oh, I can't wait to get to the to something I want to tell y'all about. Oh Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit or stand. When far away, you know my every thought. You chart my path ahead of me. Y'all don't believe that they chart God that you okay, so what is deja vu? Huh? You have those that don't believe that you can go in the future. You don't believe in time travel. I don't see how, especially anybody that reads the Bible, don't believe in time travel. You know why? Because when the devil was on the mountain with Jesus trying to persuade him to jump, huh? When he was trying to persuade him to give in and give up, he did a whole virtual reality big screen on the side of the mountain and said, look, you see future kingdoms, all the kingdoms, I could give it to you because I have been given authority over this realm. Like Jesus, he forgot who Jesus was or something. Like he thought Jesus was so out of his mind. That all the without food and being hungry that Jesus would forget because he was hungry. Or he probably thought he was delusional. Remember, he was a charge of pharmacia. Uh, and guess what? Jesus say, nah, I'm good. I don't need your virtual reality traveling back and forth through the future to show me future kingdoms and tell me what I can and cannot have. My daddy own all this and all this and all this, huh? And when the time comes, you'll know better, huh? I can't see how anybody that reads the Bible don't believe in time travel. When Daniel traveled, the angels showed them, said, look, they didn't even have to use they used God's time traveling machine, huh? To see you this day. Yeah, Revelation, you exist in this this book of Revelations right now, this day. What, you don't believe in time travel, but John was able to not only see things, he was able to hear sounds and voices and trumpets. He surpassed silent screen movies. He was able to see you this day, this time. Huh? You don't believe in time travel and you don't believe in it, but the government believes in the word more than you do then because they following the scripture to the T. Back to it. Huh? So you chart my path ahead of me and tell me where to stop and rest. I'm telling you, when I was out there in the wilderness, when I was out there in the wilderness, allowing my steps to be ordered by God, it was different. Those times I used to run away from home, was always running away from something. This one right here was different. This last time, that was ordered by God. And anywhere I stopped to rest, it was ordered by God. Every step I took while I was out there, August, September, October, November, December, every step I took was ordered by God. To this day. To this day. You proceed and follow me. Wait, you know what I'm going to say before I even say it. You both proceed and follow me and place your hand of blessing on my head. Now, they have got technology to the point where you could think about something and it's going to show up and scroll into your algorithm. So you don't think the brain waves, those watches they sending out for all the people they want to sicken up with diabetes, all the health watches that read your your dream waves. How can a watch and a phone read your dream waves? If it's reading your REM patterns, what you think it's doing while you wide awake? Those who think they sneaking and doing things, that artificial intelligence, for those who gonna be left behind, picking up every single thing you thinking. This phone can read your heartbeat. This phone can mimic these phones, this computer system, this AI system. I thank God, that it can read and know my thoughts. Where man has rejected, where man has wrongly accused, where man has did so. I'm so glad, that left it on the Akashic records of the D waves and all the waves of this artificial intelligence for those who be left behind. It's a sad thing. That's why I worship and I have Bible studies and all with my phone. My phone don't hear no foolishness going on in the background, It ain't no foolishness, And then I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that. Let me continue. This is too glorious, too wonderful to believe. I can never be lost to your spirit. I don't see how it went so long. I could never get away from my God. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the place of the dead, you are there. He was there all the time. He was there all the time. He was there all the time. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the place of the dead, you are there. If I ride the morning winds to the farthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me. Your strength will support me. If I try to hide in darkness, the night becomes light around me. Now that, any of you ever experienced that? Any of you ever experienced the night becoming light around you? When your eyes adjust. For even the darkness cannot hide me from God. To you, the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are both alike to you. Yes, because before that ball that's cold out there that they say is hot, but it ain't. The moon that's orbiting in the center is what's reflecting the heat. The plasma, it takes the plasma from the sun and then reflect it back on Earth. And that's how we get the heat. That's how we get that. But that's for science. But before any of those balls or discs that you see out there was created, you were thought of. Now, let me go over here to 139 and do it like this. And go to 14, because now I'm at 14. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully, that's 14, and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which are continuous, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should not count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. Oh, see, that's ooh, ooh. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. See, that's a promise. Huh? Because I asked when I was with him before the foundations. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly. God, they talk about you so wickedly. They act like you don't even exist, God. I can't wait for you to show them and prove them wrong, huh? That every knee will bow when the kingdom comes. Every tongue will confess, huh? Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. And thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And I not grieve for those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. I'm asking God to try me, huh? You know, somebody, yeah, you have to be from the hood to know when somebody attempt to come at you sideways or attempt not to do what they promised to do. So, oh, so you gonna try me? Try me then. Try me, dear Jesus. Try me, oh God. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. Yes, yes, everlasting, everlasting love. Everlasting love. All right, that's 139. Now, look, 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 look. Did anyone do what I asked? If you do come over here and share your time and space with me in the times and space when you do share it. Remember, I asked about type it into your phones and asking your artificial intelligence phone, where is the narrowest place on earth? I just came up with a whole something that just, you have to have been around with me some years ago when my granddaughter and I used to be going live. She was about 4 years old then. And I was always playing the Bahamian songs and DJ, and it was one of our favorite songs, right? Did anyone ask where's the narrowest place on earth? Okay. Well, I'm going to put it up here again. Let me see. The narrowest place on this planet. Because I'm going into the narrow today. You see my title? Neuro, narrow. Okay, the narrowest place on the planet. And let me put, okay, there we go. So now, can you imagine what it is that I'm about to do with that word? I want to take Lu out of the word, okay? I want to take Lu out of the word and give you the definition of Lu. So the narrowest place on the planet is Eleuthera. Okay. The connection between Eleuthera and I is my place of birth, and then the land of my birth, and then my grandmother's um travels, her island, but then they're all connected. They are still connected, especially through Georgetown to they're the sister cities. They're the sister cities to Jensen Beach. Okay? So that's what it has to do with me. All right. Now, I've been saying to you for months the connection of the Word of God, the connection of the Lion of Judah, and how there's a distinguishment of those light codes of the Lion of Judah based on a sickle. And you see that in Revelation. Okay? The lion and the camel are the only two creatures on earth that carries the sickle blood. Okay? Just like there's only certain breeds that carry the sickle blood all over the world. According to artificial intelligence, there are only 144,000 beings that have the full blown sickle cell right now in existence in the United States. And over the world population, it's only 5%. 5% of the world population has the sickle cell trait. That's all over the world. Okay? Now, Lou in the monetary unit in Rome, Lu means lion. When they first start purchasing and using trade, their trademark for their coins was based on the lion. Now, remember when they threw Daniel in the lion's den and they couldn't even figure out how come he didn't get eaten? And the only thing that the lion, I'm talking about lying, authorities could do is come up with some story or what they saw down and they said, we got to make up something because it ain't nowhere in the world we put the lion in there. He put him in there with the lion and he didn't get eaten. They knew right then there was something about his blood. And they tried it with many of those of the lion code, the DNA code, and realized, and that's why they start killing lions, not for their mane, huh? They start killing lions because they were researching the lion's DNA. Now, so there is Lu, this word, this out of Eleuthera. Oh goodness, they slowing me down now. This word is lion to the Romans. And then and it says Europe came with loosening or divide or loose or to dissolve. Now, before I go any further, there's a song that I played all the time that says, did you see Uncle Lou when he fall in the well? Now I realize that that Lou, the way that Lou is supposed to be spelled is this Lou right here. The narrowest place on the planet, that's not nothing I'm making up, you can type it into your phone, is The glass window bridge, Eleuthera. So did you see Uncle Lou? And when you say Unc, I know that the Unc, L, Lou. uh, look at YouTube trying to slow me down. Don't do that, YouTube. They slow me down, boy. Look, having trouble connecting. Please connect your internet. Now, see how they try me? See how they try me? For real? My internet going just fine. It ain't having no trouble. They won't let me share that one right there. Let me tune in and listen to myself and see if there's a problem. Let me tune. Nope. See, no problem. They won't let me share. Let me try it again. Boy, they tried, boy. There it is. So now I'm going to play this song. Give me a sec, okay? Here we go. Y'all ready? Remember this? Oh, let me Ready, set, go.
Did you see Uncle Lou when it fall in the well?
When we fall in the
I said he fell so deep that he went straight to hell. The devil and his angels are ringing the bell.
Yep.
My mama told me 3 years ago.
Where my granddaughter?
I mustn't marry no lazy gal. Say no lazy gal, no lazy gal. No lazy gal, no lazy gal. My mama told me 3 years ago I mustn't marry no old gal. Say no old gal, no old gal. I said no old gal, no old gal.
Let me get right here.
See Uncle Lou when it fall in the well.
When he fall in the well.
I said he fell so deep that he went straight to hell.
Uncle Lou when he fall in the well.
The devil and his angels are ringing the bell.
Uncle Lou when he fall in the well.
My mama told me.
All right, so you had to be around way back then. What was that, around 2017? Every day I was playing that song right there. Dancing with my granddaughter. Listening to, oh man, how many different places I used to be in the YouTube community. Going to and fro. Dr. Inky. HOTC, Red Squid, it's all over the place. Savon Boba, Bruh Sanchez, Tayi Heru, Sonetta, Garfield, all them places. And I be in my own little world playing Chief Engineer Dushewa, Mazar, Nikki C, all these places playing that song. And it just yesterday, me realizing what it really, truly has to do with me. What? Did that happen when I came out of Liminal? Today, I'm advertising Liminal, y'all. Not that you have to try it. I'm letting you know. I actually remember when I was doing Liminal yesterday, and I never signed up, or anything. It's just me experimenting with the light and the light codes, and that they are putting, they intend for those that are left behind to put in the schools. They have already started putting them in the hospitals and in the school system. The headsets, huh? In the hospital, school system, psychiatric wards, and all that, right? All right. So the thing about me is a lot of places, before I sign up, I do my research. I do my research. So I should have did my research before I went into it. But I didn't. I told you I just had an inkling to go into liminal. Not doing what I normally do, breaking down the word liminal. What's liminal? Let me look up liminal, blah, blah. It wasn't until after the session where, remember I told you yesterday, my head, this had this splitting migraine for days that was actually having me sleep all in the daytime. And then to the point, I'm talking about my chest. Today, barely, the only pain I have is, you see this big old lump on my elbow? Well, I ain't gonna show it, but well, that, about that and around the area there, that's been ever since I started on the elliptical. So when I work the elliptical, I have to hold on with just one arm, or just hold the bars there. But I try to do as less that I can, because the pain radiates all up and down here. But anyways, that's neither here or there. I'm working on that with liminal. So when I woke up this morning, no pain. As a matter of fact, the only difference that I saw with me this morning is I had extreme energy, and my tolerance for allowing something to make me frustrated is at a minimum. Meaning, here's an example, testimony service. I went to go, today was the first time since I've been working this job that I'm working. Today's the first time that I saw a 9 a.m. shift. Their shifts usually start at, or a little after afternoon and beyond. So I was like, oh, this is good. So I know that my sign in and everything is proper and correct. And when I went, I said my text, my good mornings and stuff. Mind you, the only reason why I didn't work yesterday is because I wouldn't have been able to intercept the clients or customers or beings that I had to deal with properly with my pain. Usually when I'm talking on the other side of the phone, you hear the smile. And I wouldn't have been able to fake it, because even when I smiled, the back of the pain that was radiating from the base of my skull was just excruciating. So when I went and saw, like, the first couple of times, and they knew I was there in the system or whatever, and I'm using the right code to log in, and it wouldn't let me log in. You know what I said? Okay, it's not meant for me to log in. Ain't nobody got time. I ain't got time for all that. I'll come back later. I don't have time. And if then if they don't have anything later, because I can see through knowing that there are entities that intercept and try to intercept with battery tests continuously. It's not just me. It's all those who are chosen light beings in these end days. Anything to get you to the point where you will have to be a non-compete and go with the non-compete covenant if you don't have total faith in Christ promises that was written on your DNA, the blueprint that he left, that promises from God. if you don't abide by that, you'll fall into what the devil has planned and in store for those to accept the mark of the beast. So, yeah, my tolerance, usually I would have went there, what did it, asked the supervisor, let them drag me around, or making me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Clearly. And on the second attempt, each time that it was locked out, I clear my browser. I say, you know what? Nope. So that's what I noticed. I would have played, smiled it off, and still got on, and I don't have tolerance for anything that's gonna misdirect or control. They can say in control all day long. God is in control of this vessel here. Huh? God is in control of this vessel. God is in control. Anyways, now, so I did my research, and that's what I decided to come with. Y'all know I usually go to Federal Register. I be all up and through about the news and stuff like that. I ain't focusing on that right now. Huh? Time is running short. Huh? The time is running short. All the different things like now, just worry about being born again. Just worry about being born again, because there's no other way to enter. You can be as faithful as in the church, sing to your heart's content, huh? So the message of being born again has to be spread like wildfire, because there's a lot of people don't even know what that word means. You must be born again. And as easy as you could just say to somebody, say, it's just pressing the reset button on your phone, or when you reset your computer. If you reset your computer, all the old things. Now, the thing about that reset, though, when you reset, you can't go and put no old apps in there. Because if you put it in there, that could be detrimental. It could shut down your whole system. That's what being reborn and being born again is. Old things are passed away, but you can't go back to it. You can't say, well, I just a little bit here and a little bit there. As a matter of fact, when you're born again, honestly, you not going to want to. I tell you that much. You're not going to want to. It's a difference about being saved and being born again. Because born again is exactly at where they know, huh, how priceless your light code is. All right. So I decided to look up liminal. All right. So let me go over liminal with you. And if anybody that was with me last past shadow hours when I was going through liminal, there was some formats that they had on there that I said I wasn't going to enter, and I changed my mind. I entered those when I was in flesh, huh? To study to show myself approved. I went through all these different schools of knowledge. Now I'm in light code and I'm going to stop. Nope. Nope. There's a purpose. There's a purpose for it. Huh? And hopefully, because I want to make sure that I'm rightly doing it with the beings that I can properly share as I go through these stages on this platform. So I'm going to email and make sure and verify, but I did sign up and sign in. Now here's what the meaning is of liminality. Look at that. What is that right there? Who are these ancient beings? Clay figure from old native grave in the valley of Chicama, Peru. Breadth of head, cast figure, mole mound, valley of Chicama. 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 Y'all related to the Tuckahoes? Y'all related to the Tuckahoes? I can't tell by them lips. I can't tell by them lips. This is a miscellaneous collection. Yeah, they just put the name on there. Y'all ain't no. So let's read. Let's read what liminality is. Liminality. And again, this is me doing my opening my pathways through liminal. Liminal. All right. In anthropology, liminality, limen is the quality of ambiguity or disorientation that occurs in the middle stage of a rite of passage. Ooh, look at them. They look like the Junkanoo. They look like Junkanoo. What? Look at this. Angelic sation, a rite of passage, French term. Okay, anyways, when participants no longer hold their pre-ritual status but have not yet begun the transition into the status they will hold when the rite is complete. During the rite's liminal stage, participants stand at the threshold between their previous way of structure, their identity, time, or community, and a new way, which completing the rite establishes. Wow. I promise you, when I went looking into liminal, I didn't know this. Huh? I didn't know this. So the concept of liminality was first developed in the early 20th century by folklorist Arnold van, oh goodness. I'm gonna take it and run with it. Van Gennep. And later take it up by Victor Turner. You know why? Because they take the knowledge and give it back to us, but we still in our light code and on our DNA, huh, can adjust and make it greater. Most recently, usage of the term has broadened to describe political and cultural changes as well as rights. During liminal periods of all kinds, social hierarchies may be reversed or temporarily dissolved. Continuity of tradition may become uncertain, and future outcomes, once taken for granted, may be thrown into doubt. The disillusion of order during liminality creates a fluid, malleable situation that enables new institutions and customs to become established. The term is also passed into popular usage and has been expanded to include liminoid experiences that are more relevant to post-industrial society. Rites of passage. Van Gennep. There's a fruit that we call Spanish lime. Well, they call it Spanish lime. We call it Gennep. My grandmother, well, it's Connep, but that name comes close to it. Who coined the term liminality, published in 1909, his Rites de Passage, a work that explores and develops the concept of liminality in the context of rights in small-scale societies. Van Gennep began his book by identifying the various categories of rights. He distinguished between those that result in a change of status or an individual or social group, and those that signify transitions in the passage of time. Ooh, signify transitions in the passage of time. In doing so, he placed a particular emphasis on rites of passage and claimed that such rituals marking, helping, or celebrating individual or collective passages through the cycle of life or of nature exist in every culture and share a specific threefold sequential structure. Wow. The threefold structure is established by Wegener, is made up of following components: preliminal rites, the rites of separation. This stage involves metaphorical death, as the initiate is forced to leave something behind by breaking with previous practices and routines. Amen. All right. Liminal rites, God, you promised. Liminal rites or transition rites. Two characteristics are essential to these rites. First, the rite must follow a strictly prescribed sequence where everybody knows what to do and how. Second, everything must be done under the authority of a master of ceremonies. The destructive nature of the rite allows or considerable changes to be made to the identity of the initiate. This middle stage, when the transition takes place, implies an actual passing through the threshold that marks boundary between two phases, and the term liminality was introduced in order to characterize this passage. Post minimal rites or rites of incorporation. During this stage, the initiate is reincorporated into society with a new identity as a new being. A new being. Turner confirmed his nomenclature, 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 or the three. I gotta look that up later. Three men clad, ironclad men. The three phases of passage from one culturally defined state or status to another: preliminal, liminal, and postliminal. Beyond this structural template, Van Gennep also suggested four categories of rights that emerged as universal across cultures and societies. He suggested that there are four types of social rites of passage that are replicable and recognizable among many ethnographic or ethnographic populations. They include ethnographic populations, passage of people from one status to another, passage from one place to another, passage from one situation to another. Okay, so being university, starting a new job, graduating high school, the passage of time, such as New Year celebrations and birthdays. And this is where I'm at right now. Passage of time. Van Gennep considered rites of initiation to be the most typical rite to gain better understanding. Tripartite structure of liminal situations. One could look at a specific rite of initiation, the initiation of youngsters into adulthood. Mm, Liminal period rites of passage, ritual marks, very structure of society, one sense, liminality theory of today. In contemporary anthologies, such as Neither Here or There Nor There, The Many Voices of Liminality. May look for that book. The Liminal Loop, Astonishing Stones of Discovery of Hope. Topics such as poetic interpretations, Central American notions of the in-between, pilgrimage, spiritual transformation, crisis passage, war, natural disaster, cross-cultural adoption, climate change, and spirituality, religious shifts, cyborgs, critical illness, prison, social collapse, reconstruction, gender, communities and conflicts, extreme adventure initiation, process of transition, ritual, complex liminalities, spiritual practices. Am I sharing that or y'all looking at me read? My bad. Oh man. uh, ecological collapse in the arts are explored by a variety of thinkers and practitioners in light of their liminal nature. And here's types: prolonged wars, enduring political instability, prolonged intellectual confusion, incorporation and reproduction of liminality and structures. Individuals standing outside of society by choice or designated as with exiled person. Yep. Monkhood. In some tribal society, individual remains dangerous or excluded because of failed ritual passage. Twins are permanently liminal in society. Okay. In large scale societies, the axial age. Man asked radical questions. Depth psychology. Jungians have often imperial science have often seen the individuation individuation process of self-realization as taking place within liminal space. Indivi- individ- in- Individuation begins with a withdrawal from normal modes of socialism, optimized by the breakdown of the persona liminality. Thus, what Turner's concept of social liminality does for status in society, Jung does for the movement of the person through life's process of indiv- individuation. Individuation can be seen as a movement through liminal space and time, from disorientation to integration. What takes place in a dark phase of liminality is a process of breaking down in the interest of making whole one's meaning, purpose, and sense of relatedness once more. As an archetypical figure, the trickster is a symbol of the liminal state itself and of its permanent accessibility as a source of recreative power. Jungian based analytical psychology is also deeply rooted in the ideas of liminality. The idea of the container or vessel as a key player in the ritual process of psychotherapy has been noted by many, and Carl Jung's objective was to provide a space he called a temenis, magic circle, a vessel in which the transformation inherent in the patient's condition would be allowed to take place. Wow. But other depth psychologies speak of similar process. Carl Rogers described the out of this world quality that many therapists have remarked upon. A source of trance like feeling a relationship with the client and a therapist emerged from at the end of the hour, as if from a deep well or tunnel. The French talk of how the psychoanalytic setting open forges the intermediate space, excluded middle, or between that figures so importantly in Irigary's writing. Marion Milner, psychoanal- a psychoanalyst, analyst, outside psychotherapeutic circles. She is better known for her pseudonym, Joanne Field. Joanna Field. The temporal spatial frame also marks off a special kind of reality of psychoanalytical session, the different kind of reality that is within it. Jungians, however, have perhaps been most explicit about the need to accord space time in place of liminal feeling, as well as about the associated dangers. Two mistakes: we provide no ritual space at all in our lives, or we stay in too long. Indeed, Jung's psychology has itself been described as a form of permanent liminality in which there is no need to return to social structure. Okay. No, man. In the rights. In time, the temporal dimension of liminality can relate to moments, sudden events, periods, weeks, months, or possibly years, and epochs, decades, generations, maybe even centuries. Twilight serves as a liminal time between day and night, where one is in the twilight zone. In the liminal, neither region nor night. The title of television fiction series The Twilight Zone makes reference to this, describing it as the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition. In one variant, the original series opening, the name is from an actual zone observable from space in the place where daylight or shadow advances or retreats about the earth. Noon and more often midnight can be considered liminal, the first transition between morning and afternoon, in the latter between days. Within the years, liminal times includes equinoxes when day and night have equal length, and solstices when the increase of day or night shifts over to its decrease. This qualitative bounding or quantitatively unbounded phenomena marks the cyclical changes of seasons throughout the year, where the quarter days are held to mark the change of seasons. They also are liminal times. New Year's Day, whatever its connection or lack of in the astrological sky, is a liminal time. Customs such as fortune telling taking advantage of this liminal state in the number of cultures in a number of cultures, actions and events of the first day of the year can determine the year, leading to such a belief as first foot. In many cultures, regarded it as time especially prone to hauntings, ghosts, liminal beings neither alive or dead. In religion, liminal existence can be located in a separated sacred space which occupies sacred time. Examples in the Bible include a dream of Jacob, Genesis 28:12-19. I went over that, where he encounters God between heaven and earth, in the instance when Isaiah meets the Lord in the temple of holiness, Isaiah 6:1-6. In such liminal space, the individuals experience the revelation of sacred knowledge where God imparts his knowledge on the person. Worship can be understood in this context as church community or communitas or koinonia enter into liminal space corporately. Religious symbols and music made aid to this process, describing as a pilgrimage by the way of prayer, song, and liturgical acts. The congregation is transformed in liminal space as they exit and are sent back out into the world to serve. Judeo Christian ministry and liminal reality and transformational power. Dr. Timothy Carson curated the Liminality Project, co founder of the Guild Engaged Liminality, and Lisa Withrow and Jonathan Best, the co founder of Liminality Press, with Lisa Withrow explores the outer and inner aspects of liminality, addressing the history of the discipline of mythological and psychological underpinnings and an application of the concepts of theology, biblical hermeneutics or hermeneutics, hermeneutics, symbolism, and practical application of those engaged in religious leaders. Now, I know what a hermit is: the study and principles of interpretation concerning the Bible. It is a broader field of hermeneutics. There's the new in Neuro again, which involves the study and principles of interpretation, both theory and methodology, for all forms of communication, nonverbal and verbal. Learning into Liminal, the guide for counselors and companions. Carson utilizes a model informed by liminality, the rites of passage process, as theoretical resources for counselors, therapists, religious leaders, spiritual directors, and chaplains. It includes reflections on the role of liminal guide, as well as contributions by 7 other authors who address variety of therapeutic models, healing wounds of war, spiritual direction, and guiding through the end passages of life. Okay, I saw something I want to click. Where did I see? Engage liminality. Okay, I'll just leave that in. Of beings. I'm gonna skip over to the trickster. Is a myth, mythic projection of the magician standing in the limit between the sacred realm and the profane, and related archetypes embody many such contradictions as do the popular culture celebrities. The category, also called also hypothetically and in fiction, includes cyborgs, hybrids between two species, shapeshifters. One could also consider seals, crabs, shorebirds, frogs, bats, dolphins, whales, and other border animals to be liminal. The wild duck and swan are cases in point, intermediate creatures that combine underwater activity and bird flight with immediate terrestrial life. Shamans and spiritual guides also serve as liminal beings, acting as mediators between this world and the other world. His presence is betwixt and between the human and supernatural. Many believe that shamans and spiritual advisors were born into their fate, possessing a greater understanding of the connection of the natural world, and thus often live in margins of society, existing in a liminal state between worlds and outside of the common society. In places, in folklore, ooh, is that Shiva? Ooh, Cupid. Ethnographic research. In ethnographic research, the researcher is in a liminal state, separated from his own culture, yet not incorporated into a host culture. When he or she is both participating in culture and observing the culture, the researcher must consider the self in relation to others and his or her position in the culture being studied. In many cases, great participation in the group being studied can lead to increase access of cultural information and greater intergroup understanding of experiences within the culture. However, increased participation also blurs the role of the researcher in data collection and analysis. Often, the researcher that engages in fieldwork is as a participant or participant observer occupies a liminal state where he or she is part of the culture, but also separated from the culture as a researcher. The liminal state of being betwixt and between is emotional and uncomfortable as the researcher uses self reflectively reflectivity to interpret fields of observations and interviews. Some scholars argue that ethnographers are present in their research or occupying liminal state, regardless of their participant status. Justification for this position is that the researcher has a human instrument human instrument engages with his or her observations in the process of recording and analyzing the data. A researcher often unconsciously selects what to observe, how to record observations, and how to interpret observations based on personal reference points and experiences. For example, even in selecting what observations are interesting to record, the researcher must interpret and value data available. The explorer To explore the liminal state of researcher of the researcher in relation to the culture, self-reflectivity and awareness are important tools in to reveal researcher bias and interpretation. Higher education, student orientation, rite of passage in popular culture, and plays, films, photography, and internet culture. You're talking about back rooms. Hmm. Space liminal, but post liminal space photos that has occurred over 100 liminal space can also be found in painting and drawing. Going down, give me a minute. Liminoid experiences form, shape society. Examples of liminoid: commercial flight. One scholar, Alexandra Murphy, has argued that airplane travel is inherently liminoid, suspended in the sky, neither here nor there, and crossing thresholds of time and space. It is difficult to make sense of the experience of flying. Murphy posts that flights shift our existence into limbo space, in which movement becomes an accepted set of cultural performances aimed at convincing us that air travel is a reflection of reality rather than separation from it. Ooh, that was deep. Uh-huh. Okay. Now, let me see what else about liminal that I want to cover. So, again, as I did the liminal experience yesterday, and then later on, before I went to sleep, I decided to look up liminal and liminality. And so I found all of these things. There's a liminality or a liminal god or deity. A liminal deity is a god or a goddess in mythology who presides over thresholds, gates, or doorways, or crosser of boundaries. These gods are believed to oversee the state of transition in some kind, such as the old and the new, the unconscious and the unconscious. I didn't know that when I up until after I went into liminal yesterday and enjoyed the experience. And I told you, if you go to my live yesterday, that I said this is going to be an experiment for me, a research. I'm researching. And um now that I've read even more, I plan to go like all the way with this. There's some things that just like all of these other schools and spaces of time um that I have encountered, and um in collaboration with everything that I do daily, because this is me going into light code and into the reflection of what they're going to be putting in the system, um, for those that either choose to stay, um, because the money is good, when Biden and Kamala and all of them side and say we're buying Americans. For those who don't choose to stay because you didn't know better and have to wait on the return, you will be here for the 1,000 years. And those 1,000 years, according to God, could be just one day. Only God knows that part, because God can also change mind. And the word straight and narrow that I have here in the description, the etymology or root of the stri in front of the straight is woman. STRI, woman. The neuro is the same as the narrow path. The word straight and narrow is almost the same word that I have up here. So you notice I don't have the old English STRAIGHT, because they always got to put a GH within a word before, like ghost. Those words like that, is directed to the those who are connected to the land. Well, I'm gonna play this right here. This last, I can't see um any further than where I want to go right now. So I'm getting ready to get off of here. Wait, did I say I was gonna cover straight and narrow? Let me make sure I give you the scripture about straight and narrow again. The straight and narrow path. I'm gonna read that over that one more time, because I'm gonna stay on straight and narrow for a couple of days. That's what I'm gonna try to do. But I know I'm also, ooh, yay! I'm also gonna hang out with y'all later. So I'll do it later. I'll do it later since I just got this text. Um, I'll do it later, because I definitely will come later and do the um liminal experience. Um and greater light. Greater light. Oh, goodness. Give me a second. It's just because I got this text. I got thrown off. It's, well, two came through, and that's what kind of threw me off just a little bit. Just a little bit. I want to see, is there anything else that I wanted to. I'm gonna do my own research to try to um bring some education about the glass window bridge, and then and then for my mother, if my mother ever tunes in, or any of my family members, knowing this, seeing this verse and the connection with the follow-up with me, Matthew, let's go to Matthew 7:13. Go with me to Matthew 7:13. Go with me to Matthew 7:13. I'm putting it in here. for you. Matthew 7:13. Heaven can be entered only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gates is wide enough for all multitudes who choose its easy way. But the gateway to life is small, and the road is narrow, like the narrowest place on its glass, clear, transparent. And only a few ever find it. It's like standing at Eleuthera's narrowest place on earth in front of a glass window. A greater light. That's Matthew 7:13, 14. And here's a little view for you. Wait, no, not that. Not that. Let's see. Oh, I didn't doubt. Yes, I did.
I will choose. I cannot fight the urge. Easy diagram reflects for the leaders get discouraged. Yeah, do ya. Hit them with this dirge. Yeah, about to get what they deserve. Yeah. What to be your mother was like a lioness of love. Her children were like lions, Judah lions, Judah cubs. One of her lions boomed so strong and ran through light. Prepared to catch prey and eat man of bad lights. The nations called the hunters, trapped him in a pit. Brought him in chains through twin towers of Egypt. When Israel, the mother lion, saw hope for him was gone, she took another of her cubs, told her to be strong in the edge of the beginning, yeah. Forever and a day may long, the end manifest ages, they will sing this death dirge song. Take up the sickle, true your prince is bold. Speak of the lioness, fierce and untamed. She lay among the lions, fierce and cold.
That's Ezekiel 33. Anybody hearing the song? That's Ezekiel 33.
They say, her roar echoed through valleys wild and free. Yet fate wove a tail, led her cubs astray. From pride to pick that path and twine and see. What a lioness was your mother, they say. I will choose. I cannot fight the urge. Easy diagram reflects for the leaders get discouraged. Yeah, do ya. Hit them with this dirge. Yeah, about to get what they deserve. Yeah. What to be your mother was like a lioness of love. Her children were like lions, Judah cubs. One of her lions boomed so strong and ran through light. Prepared to catch prey and eat man of bad lights. The nations called the hunters, trapped him in a pit. Brought him in chains through twin towers of Egypt. When Israel, the mother lion, saw hope for him was gone, she took another of her cubs, told her to be strong in the edge of the beginning, yeah. Forever and a day may long, the end manifest ages, they will sing this death dirge song. Take up the sickle, true your prince is bold. Speak of the lioness, fierce and untamed. She lay among the lions, fierce and cold. Nurturing her cubs, their destinies framed. What a lioness was your mother, they say. Her roar echoed through valleys wild and free. Yet fate wove a tail, led her cubs astray. From pride to pick that path and twine and see. What a lioness was your mother, they say. I will choose. I cannot fight the urge.